back in, I think it was about 96, 97. I was MC at a wedding. Those days I used to MC like wedding after wedding. Every weekend I was at a wedding as an MC. And on this particular day, it was some close friends. And during the actual ceremony, they had an entertainment piece, which was a group of women that were from the Ngoni tribe from eastern Zambia. So they came through and they started doing their song and dance, and it looked amazing. The only thing is, the lady that was the front lady, the lady that was leading the group, she had like a quiet voice. So me as MC, and those days cordless mics were new. So I thought, let me give her the cordless mic so that she can have her voice amplified during this song so that the whole auditorium can be covered by her voice. So I go to her and I give her the cordless mic. She has a couple of seconds to decode what that's all about. She gets this thing. I'm thinking she's about to sing into it. I'm even actually gesturing, like put it close to the mouth. She decodes it that this is a knobkerrie. Like, you know, those, the Ngoni warriors have those, like a little pole, and it's similar in shape to this thing, so you can't blame her. So she starts doing the Ngoni dance and raising the thing in the air. And I thought about that recently because this is what happens with us. Kudos to her, because in a couple of seconds, she used her reference from her upbringing to figure out what that thing in her hand was. And in her mind, she thought it was a knobkerrie. And for those few seconds, that's what it was. It wasn't a microphone. It happens to all of us when we are in a situation. We look at something and then we use our frame of reference based on our upbringing or our patterns of behavior. So we're at a studio. One of the studios has a trackpad, but those Apple trackpads, the flat ones, the Magic trackpad, I think is what it's called. One voice artist comes in, based on a reference, based on what she's used to, she thought it was a coaster, so she puts a mug of coffee on there. In a bigger way, those kind of things also inform how we approach things. So if, for instance, you give a politician power and their frame of reference is, I'm a businessman, then they'll treat governance like they're business people, brokering deals, doing things of that sort. If you give a lawyer power, you know, their main thing might be litigation systems and that kind of thing. And one guy that comes to mind with two examples around how when he was given something, he used his frame of reference to see how he can move in that territory is Clive Davis, R.I.P. Clive Davis, one of the greatest music executives that we've known in our lifetime. I read his book. Clive Davis didn't start out as a music executive. He started out as a lawyer. So when he entered the music and entertainment industry, that was his frame of reference, contracts, legalese, to do with dealing with artists. And he used that as his first point of call to master the music industry, and he was responsible for the careers of, among others, famously Whitney Houston and a number of others. But he just didn't use the skill that he went in with. He decided to also fine-tune other aspects of the music industry. Like, for instance, on weekends, if I remember correctly from his book, he'd go home with the top 20 or top 100 tracks on the Billboard charts, and he'd listen to those so that he could pick up the patterns of what was popping and why it was successful, etc. After he died, I saw a post on Instagram, and it also spoke to that in a different way, though. There was a screenshot of the first time that he heard This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. So think about it. This is a guy who, when he heard that song, he's not in the target audience. This is a guy who's maybe like 20 years senior to all the other executives that he's overseeing. But he understands how This Is How We Do It is going to be a hit. And he puts in the message that this reminds him of a young Teddy Pendergrass. So he's using his frame of reference again, like, okay, there was a young, black, successful R&B artist in my time, and that formula can work for, in this current day and age, a Montel Jordan, etc. So, yeah, I think that's how I kind of perceive it. When we enter spaces, we'll use our cultural references, our family references, things that we're familiar with, to acclimatize ourselves in spaces. But I think the key in order to move steps up is to use that as the foundation and then absorb and accumulate stuff to take you to the next level. Yeah, story time over.